Making headlines this hour, Maldives delegation actively participates at the 34th session of UPR in Geneva. Maldives and Morocco discusses strengthening bilateral partnership on counterterrorism and radicalization. And current and former leaders in Sri Lanka cast their votes for the next president. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News with me, Ismail Azim. The 34th session of the Universal Periodic Review concludes at the Palais des Nations in Geneva. The session continued for a period of 2 weeks from November 4 to 15. In line with the priority Maldives accords to the United Nations Human Rights Council and its mechanisms, the delegation from Maldives actively participated at the session of the Universal Periodic Review, UPR, and presented constructive recommendations to 10 states reviewed at the session. The Maldives delegation provided recommendations to Italy, El Salvador, Gambia, Bolivia, Fiji, Kazakhstan, Iraq, Slovenia, Egypt and Bosnia, in addition to Herzegovina. Maldives was represented at the UPR session by permanent representative of Maldives to the United Nations Office at Geneva, Ambassador Dr. Hala Hamid, and Deputy Permanent Representative Haula Ahmed Didi. The UPR is a process which involves a review of the human rights records of all United Nations member states. The UPR is a state-driven process under the auspices of the United Nations Human Rights Council, which provides the opportunity for each state to declare action taken to improve the human rights situations in their respective countries and to fulfill their human rights obligations. With the objective to improve human rights situations in all countries and also addressing violations of human rights wherever they may occur, the UPR mechanism is designed to give equal treatment to every country when their human rights situation is assessed. The UPR working group holds 3 two-week sessions per year, and currently the UPR is holding its third cycle review, which began in 2017 and will conclude in 2021. The third cycle review of Maldives will be held in April and May 2020 at the 36th session of the UPR. Minister of Foreign Affairs Abdullah Shahid meets Minister of Foreign Affairs African Cooperation and Moroccan expatriates Nasser Bourita as part of his official visit to Morocco. During the meeting held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Morocco, Minister Shahid delivered a letter from President Ibrahim Mohamed Saleh addressed to King of Morocco Mohammed VI and held discussions on the wide range of issues of mutual interest. Both ministers reiterated commitment to further strengthen the bilateral partnership between the two countries in areas such as economic cooperation. In addition to people-to-people contact, culture and heritage, counterterrorism and radicalization, education and climate change. They signed 4 agreements following the meeting, which are agreement for Islamic cooperation between the Ministry of Islamic Affairs of Maldives and Ministry of Religious Endorsement and Islamic Affairs of Morocco, Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation between Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Maldives and Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Morocco, agreement between the Government of Republic of Maldives and the Government of the Kingdom of Morocco on the exemption of visa requirement for their respective nationals, and Memorandum of Understanding between the Foreign Service Institute of the Republic of Maldives and the Foreign Service Academy of the Government of the Kingdom of Morocco. The government of Japan donates a fire engine under the Grant Assistance for Grassroots Human Security Project GGP. National Disaster Management Authority NDMA revealed the Japanese government donated a fire engine worth $88,449 as part of the GGP scheme. The contract was signed in a ceremony by Ambassador of Japan Keiko Yanai and CEO of NDMA Hisan Hassan. NDMA said the fire engine will be officially handed over to the Fire and Rescue Service, Maldives National Defense Force (MNDF). Previously, Japan has granted an aid of $4.6 million to Maldives to acquire vessels to be utilized by MNDF in emergency situations. Minister of Fisheries, Marine Resources and Agriculture Zaha Wahid says the administration is working to develop Maldives' industrial fisheries company MIFCO by collaborating with foreign banks. Speaking at the ceremony held in Farkolfoshi to mark the 26th anniversary of MIFCO, Fisheries Minister Zaha said deliberate measures will be taken to bring success to the state-owned company next year. Zaha further said the company has a long history in the Maldivian fisheries sector and the role it has played in developing the sector is very significant. She also applauded MIFCO for continuing to adhere to international fish export standards. MIFCO launched 2 new fish products in the function to mark its anniversary. The products will now be available from all MIFCO outlets. The company also launched its new website during the ceremony. MIFCO recognized the loyalty of its long-serving employees by awarding commendations for those who have worked for 20 and 40 years. The ceremony was attended by senior officials from MIFCO and the Fisheries Ministry. Minister of Health Abdullah Amin says the people will benefit from the key changes brought to the health sector next year. Speaking on a program aired on PSM News, Minister Amin said the Ministry of Health faced significant challenges in executing its planned projects this year due to the budget constraints. He further explained the ministry could not get its allocated budget for this year, which affected the functions of the ministry. Speaking on the program, the Health Minister revealed planning for next year has been completed and the people will see key changes early next year with the approval of the state budget for 2020, allowing people to benefit from the measures taken by the ministry. He further said equipment and machinery requirements for 5 new tertiary hospitals to be developed and the existing hospitals and health centers have been identified and listed, while orders to purchase some of the listed equipment have already been placed. Additionally, part of the equipment has also been purchased via State Trading Organization (STO). Minister Amin also explained the opportunities this sector will create next year. Minister said a strategic human resource analysis has also been completed, creating over 1,200 job opportunities with the budget approval. He further clarified the ministry has interviewed shortlisted applicants for many of these positions. He said the sector will see key changes with the biggest ever budget allocated for the health sector. China's central bank initiates the second phase of a targeted reserve requirement ratio cut for some cities' commercial banks and conducted the medium-term lending facility to inject liquidity into the market. On its website, People's Bank of China said the reduction in the cash that lenders must hold as reserves unleashed about $5.7 billion of long-term capital into the market. Meanwhile, the central bank said a total of about $28.537 billion was pumped into the market via one-year medium-term lending facility at the interest rate of 3.25%. The central bank said the moves aim to maintain market liquidity at a reasonably ample level to offset peaks of tax payment and other factors. To boost financing for small and private firms, the central bank said in September it would cut the reserve requirement ratio RRR by a total of 100 basis points for any city commercial bank that operates only in the provincial level region where it is based. The targeted cuts have been implemented in 2 phases, with the first phase of a 50 basis point reduction going into effect on October 15. The central bank said 2 phases of cuts were expected to release capital totaling $14.268 billion. Current and former leaders in Sri Lanka cast their votes for the next president. President Maithripala Sirisena voted in the town of Polonnaruwa. Prime Minister Vikram Sinha, who is the leader of the United National Party, lost a bitter power struggle with Housing Minister Sajid Premadasa for the nominations. However, speaking to media after voting, he expressed confidence that Premadasa would win. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa campaigned tirelessly for his brother Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who has already announced that he would nominate the two-term president as his Prime Minister. A Rajapaksa victory is expected to consolidate the Rajapaksa political dynasty, with dozens of close family members holding key political positions. CEO Karl-Heinz Rummenigge says Bayern Munich interim coach Hansi Flick will remain on the Champions bench at least until Christmas. Bayern Munich interim coach Hansi Flick took over last week from Niko Kovac and won both games in charge against Olympiacos in the Champions League and against Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga. Flick's stock soared on November 9 when his team hit top form in their biggest game of the season so far, crushing title rivals Dortmund 4-0. Bayern, who has already qualified for Champions League knockout stage, are in third place in the Bundesliga, 4 points behind leaders Borussia Mönchengladbach. The league breaks for the winter on December 22 and resumes on January 17. Comic book movie Joker is poised to surpass $1 billion in global ticket sales, becoming the first R-rated Hollywood movie ever to overcome this milestone.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week.
Joker, a dark origin story from Warner Bros. About Batman's arch nemesis, had sold $999.1 million as of November 14, despite not having been screened in China, which is projected to become the world's largest movie market next year. Starring Joaquin Phoenix as a mentally ill loner who finds fame through a random act of violence, the movie earned warm reviews as it opened in the early October, but stoked controversy in the US over fears it would encourage violence. Box office analyst Gitesh Pandya said Joker would top the $1 billion level. Its nearest R-rated rivals are 2018 movie Deadpool 2 and 2016's Deadpool, both starring Ryan Reynolds as a full-mouth superhero. And with that concludes the English bulletin for today. Have a pleasant day ahead. Goodbye.